Indiana's unexpected inclusion in the college football playoff may go down as one of the biggest mistakes in the history of the postseason. After a brutal 27-17 loss to Notre Dame, the question must be asked: how in the world did the Hoosiers even make it in? Indiana's coach, Curt Cignetti, argued his team earned the right to be here. But that rhetoric fell flat once the game kicked off. Notre Dame jumped out to a commanding 27-3 lead, only to falter in the final minutes when Indiana scored 2 late touchdowns. The result? A close game that shouldn't have been close, highlighting just how out of their depth Indiana really was in this playoff matchup. Let's be real. There has never been a more glaring case of a team being in the playoff based on hype rather than merit. While Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman was quick to call this a humbling experience, the truth remains. The selection committee made a colossal error. The Hoosiers' 11-0 record was built on beating up inferior opponents, with wins over teams like Florida International, Western Illinois, and Charlotte, teams so bad they fired their coaches. Yet, the committee ranked Indiana high. Even after they were obliterated by Ohio State, they still made it into the playoff despite failing the tough competition test. The Hoosiers' performance was no surprise. Their offensive firepower crumbled when faced with legitimate competition. In their blowout loss to Ohio State, Indiana's high-scoring offense could barely muster 15 points. And now, against Notre Dame, it became abundantly clear: Indiana simply didn't belong in the playoff conversation. They weren't one of the 12 best teams in the nation, let alone one of the 4. This failure isn't just a knock on Indiana. It's a wake-up call for the college football playoff system itself. The selection committee must rethink its criteria and stop rewarding teams based solely on their record against weak opponents. The fact that Indiana made it in while teams like unbeaten Liberty were left out last year shows the flaws in the process. Heading into next season and beyond, the committee must reassess everything, from the metrics it uses to the entire structure of the playoff. One thing's for sure: the Indiana debacle cannot happen again. This was a mistake that cost the sport credibility, and it's time to make sure it never happens again. Let's hope they get it right next time.